I just think I've just got the power to hurt her. I think I'm a lot stronger. I'm a lot fitter. She's got the speed and technique on me, but people that are not really seeing my boxing side because I've not had to use it, but I can actually box as well. And I just think my pressure is just too much.
Whoa. Have you hit that subscribe button? If not, what are you waiting for? Do it.
Hello one and all, welcome back to the TotalSport YouTube channel. It's On The Canvas episode 2, and this time we're joined by a very special guest, as you can see. We've got Chantelle Cameron with us. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Still in quarantine, still in lockdown, watching everybody else going outside and not social distancing and getting angry about it, but that's how it goes.
Oh.
Jacob, how are you?
Whereabouts are you?
I'm Birmingham based. I'm based in Birmingham.
How do you do content?
It's just because I live with someone under shielding, so we're very restricted as to who we let in and out of the house and where we go, really. So we're just stuck in more times than going out. Yeah, more or less, as everybody should be, of course, during this very strange time. How's things been for you in lockdown? You know, training and whatnot.
Weren't too bad. I think you just kind of had to get on with it. Everybody was in the same boat, and I just kept thinking I'd rather keep my family and my friends safe. So I just think there's no point moaning and getting down about it. You just got to do what everyone else is doing and get on with it and make the most of it and do what you can when you can.
How long have you been back in training for?
About 3-4 weeks now. Like actually going back to Manchester.
Yeah.
What's the process been like? I mean, I'm guessing you probably had less people in the gym and stuff like that. Like, obviously, we see it across combat sports in general with, the UFC having been back for a little while now and boxing kind of getting itself back together. What's the process been like for a fighter's perspective, training under the lockdown?
It's been quite strange because obviously you still got to be careful. You still, nothing's got the all clear yet. So just one sparring partner. I'm not sparring with loads of different people because I think it's too dangerous still. So I've just been having one sparring partner, not training on the bags with anyone, doing pads, but just with Jamie or Nige or my home coach, Dritten. Just trying to be as safe as you can, but training, just being a bit more cautious.
Something I've always been interested in is when you spar, it's difficult finding female fighters a lot of the time. Do you spar mainly men? Yeah,
so I prefer to spar the men. At the moment, I've been sparring Tasha Jonas, but usually I do spar the men. But just at the moment, I'm not because of Corona. I'd rather not be risking different sparring partners, because especially for sparring, you are so close contact, and sometimes you're sweating on each other and everything. I just don't think it's that safe yet to be mixing up sparring. So at the moment, I'm just sparring Tasha Jonas.
How's she looking? She's obviously fighting Terry Harper.
She's looking very sharp. Yeah, she's every week she seems to be sharper and sharper.
One thing I wanted to ask about as well, what's the mindset been like, obviously, with uncertainty on when you'll be able to actually get back in the ring and back into competition? I know there's a bit more sort of showing for it now, but over just mostly the period of time where there was that complete, is it going to be a few months? Is it going to be next year? What was the feeling like, and what was your mindset like in that scenario?
It's horrible because even now I've actually not got a set day. So I'm praying it's not going to be next year, because obviously that's a whole year without fighting, which is a lot. It's very frustrating because I had 2 fight dates set. They both got cancelled because of Corona, obviously. And now I have no idea what's happening. So it's very frustrating because as a fighter, you do need you need a date. You need a date set in stone for you to focus and knuckle down. And at the moment, there's set.
Sorry, is that the reason why you've thrown your hat into the ring for the Katie Taylor fight?
Yeah, I was thinking I need a fight date. I've seen these dates and I think I'm British, I'm training in England. I'm an easy fight to make and I'm mandatory. The fight fans want to see that fight, so to me, just throw me in there. I don't see why not. I think they're saying I've not got a profile and stuff, but I said in other interviews, I feel like my profile's getting bigger all the time, and I had more of a profile than Jessica McCaskill when they boxed. Delphine Bassoon, nobody had actually seen her box before Katie. She was a world champion for God knows how many years, but there was no actual footage of her, and nobody had really heard or seen Delphine Bassoon. So I think well, people have seen me box and people talk about me, but apparently my profile isn't big enough.
Have you had discussions with Eddie about this? Your MTK, no?
No, nothing. I spoke to Jamie and he just telling me just get in the ring and not get in the ring, just get training and hope for the best. Hopefully they give me an offer.
Obviously, you mentioned Katie Taylor there. You've got history with her, so to speak. How much of that plays into obviously wanting that fight alongside the title shot and being a mandatory? You know, does the sort of that past fight that you guys had in the amateur rounds, does that play into sort of your motivation to get back and go for her again?
Not at all, because amateurs are amateurs, and I always say, like, I wasn't the best amateur. My style didn't suit the amateurs. I was on Team GB, went to the majors, but my style just didn't suit the amateurs. So the amateurs got nothing to do with it. Because even then, it was my second international. I must have had eight boxing bouts when I boxed her, and she's probably had over 100. So I was basically a novice when I boxed her in EUs, and she's a phenomenal fighter. She's unbelievable, but I was basically a novice. So it doesn't when people say about the amateur fight, I just think I was new to the amateur scene, so I don't really think that matters. And I think the pro scene is completely different. The pro scene is where I'm suited and where I'm better. So
I'll be really intrigued to see that fight, because a lot of people inside the game are actually tipping you as the live underdog in that fight. What makes you so confident about beating Taylor?
To be fair, I like being the underdog, because I know that people think I'm crazy for shouting her out, think I'm gutsy. I think someone said I'm ballsy or something, and I think like, it just makes me laugh, because I just think I've just got the power to hurt her. I think I'm a lot stronger, I'm a lot fitter. She's got the speed and technique on me, but people are not really seeing my boxing side, because I've not had to use it, but I can actually box as well. And I just think my pressure is just too much. But I prefer being the underdog. So in my mindset, I'm the big underdog, because that's what motivates me.
And obviously, we mentioned that not having a date not so long ago. Is there any sort of rough time frame in mind at all? Or is it just completely up in the air? There's nothing at all.
For me, it's up in the air, which is frustrating, because I'm ready to fight. Like, I've been training hard. I've been getting myself ready, and all I need now is an actual date. And I feel like last year I was the ball was rolling for me. I was in good form, and I don't want to go stale, and I don't want to get ring rusty. So the sooner I get a date, the better, because I want to crack on where I left off last year.
Has any of your training partners, in a more stable, had a date talk to me about?
Yeah, Akib, he's got a date. He's on the fight camp in Eddie's back garden, and not too sure about the others.
What are your thoughts about fight camp and the whole Eddie's back garden thing? As an experience, it's going to be very different to having no spectators in there, and that sort of thing. So, how do you feel about that, and how it may be as an experience for you in that sense, really?
I think it's unbelievable. I think it's such a good setup, and I think it's completely different as well. So that's why I really want to get. I would love to fight on there. I want the opportunity, even if it went against Katie Taylor. I just think it's a great opportunity to box outside, behind closed doors. It's completely something out of the blue, and I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be interesting. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I don't know if you've watched much of how the UFC have done it in terms of with the empty arenas and stuff, and you hear everything the corner's saying. You hear what the fighters are even saying to each other in the midst of the combat, and pretty much every hit in that sense as well. So, I mean, do you think it will make much of a difference to your own mindset in that sense, or will it just be exactly the same as if there were, thousands of people there?
For me personally, it wouldn't affect me, because I boxed on the amateur scene with nobody in the crowd. So in the major tournaments, the world champions, European, there'll be hardly anyone in the crowd. It'll be about 5-10 people, and that was big events. So me personally, it's just about winning. My mindset is very whoever I'm facing, all I want to do is win. So I don't need the crowd to motivate me. Obviously, the crowd helps massively. Like, when people are cheering my name, shouting for me, it does give you that adrenaline. It gives you that boost. But at the same time, you just have to change your mindset. A fight is a fight. Doesn't matter who's there supporting you or who's cheering you on. You got to do what you got to do to win.
if you can't get the Taylor fight, is there anyone else on your radar?
So I wouldn't mind a fight with Amanda Serrano, Jessica McCaskill, or even Delphine Pursuing herself.
Do you think Pursuing beat Taylor the first time round? Because it's quite controversial.
I think she beat her. I do think she won that fight. I think it was a bit harsh on Delphine. I think it was a bit of a rough decision, and I think she hurt Katie quite bad. I can't remember what round it was. I think it was 9 or 10 maybe. If there was an extra 10 seconds in that round, I think Katie would have been stopped.
Yeah,
she was struggling.
It's interesting, like the 2-minute rounds. Are you in favour of 3-minute rounds, like the men?
3 minutes, definitely, yeah. Because even sometimes in I've boxed, it get to about 1:50. I start unloading and I start to hurt my opponent, and then the bell goes, and then they have a minute to recover. So it's hard to get the stoppage because you don't have a long enough round. You don't have enough time to get the damage, and then you have a minute to recover as well. So they always seem to recover. So it's quite annoying. It's quite hard to get the stoppages.
You talk about the pressure. Were you slightly intimidated when you walked into the stable? Because, you've got all the names in there, Frampton, Cattrall.
So I trained with Frampton at McGuigan's. So that weren't too bad. But to be fair, at first when I first went there, I was a bit intimidated, thinking, "Oh God, a whole new team, whole new bunch of lads." But Jamie and I just made me feel settled in straight away, and all the lads did as well. Just it was like I've been there for a long time, so it weren't bad at all.
And one other thing I wanted to touch on as well is more for the experience part of it, is stepping into that ring. I mean, obviously you see it on social media, and you probably get it sometimes when someone will talk to you and they'll say, I think, X, Y, and Z could have done better. The usual sort of armchair fans who critique from behind the screen. In terms of the actual process of getting in a ring, getting hit in the face, getting hit in the body, what's that process like, and how would you explain it to somebody who obviously talks trash behind the screen?
So people that talk trash, I think you would not last 10 seconds in the actual ring. You probably wouldn't even enter the ring. You probably start warming up in the changing room. You probably go to where you're about to walk out, and then end up going, getting your bag and going to your car. I think it's the most nerve-wracking experience you can imagine, because you know that all the hard work's done, and no matter how hard you trained, how good you're feeling warming up, it all matters when you get in that ring. And you could feel sharp as a razor on the pads warming up, or you could feel rubbish on the pads and thinking, "Oh my God, I'm not ready, I'm not prepared, I'm not sharp." And it all sounds, little things just play on your head. Or am I not warm enough? Am I too warm? You just can't get the balance. And then when you go to walk out, I just think, why am I doing this? I really don't need to do this. And I get so nervous. I literally feel sick. I'm just like, I don't know why I do it. And then as soon as I start walking to the ring, I just think, I'm too late now. I can't run away now. I've just got to do this. And then as soon as the bell goes, it's like a switch goes off, and I just love it in there. So it's quite weird. It's a weird feeling.
Does that happen every single fight? You get that?
Every fight. Yeah. Every fight. I think, what am I doing here? I do not need to do this. I could go sit behind a chair, not get my head punched in, not have people judging you or the thought of losing. But at the end of the day, winning's the best feeling. So.
Yeah, and sticking along that sort of topic of people who obviously they talk trash. A common consensus from a lot of the same sort of the trolls on the internet is that they don't see why women fight. So what's your viewpoint on people who do say that, and why do you think they say that? Whether it's because it's different to what they expect, but your thoughts on people who say that, and how it makes you feel when you see those sorts of comments.
I think everyone's entitled to an opinion, everyone. I don't think you can say to someone, you shouldn't say that, or that you're wrong, because I think everyone is entitled to their opinion. And if they don't like women's boxing, that's up to them. I just don't feel that, I don't see why they feel the need to go online and start saying about women's boxing being rubbish, we shouldn't be able to box. Just keep your opinion to yourself, because people don't want to see or don't want to hear that, especially when we work just as hard as the men. And we do exactly what the men do, and we're putting our lives on the line when we enter that ring. So I just think, have your opinion, but keep it to yourself. And I think you probably never boxed in your life either. I think that's the annoying thing, is that they have that opinion, but they're probably not even entered a boxing ring and probably haven't even put a glove on before. So I just think you have no idea. It is annoying, but I just think if you're gonna have that opinion, then have it. But just I can't stand trials, to be fair. I just think go do something better with your life. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever, when you first started in the game and you were building your profile, was there points where you read comments and stuff like that, or have you always been of the situation of I don't read them at all, don't pay attention to them?
So sometimes I had notifications that come up and it's been like people saying stuff, and I just think just block them and think you like absolute idiot. You never ever say that to me if you see me face to face. And if you're gonna sit behind a computer and say stuff, then you obviously need to get a life. I think it's pathetic. But now I just don't I avoid reading things because I think you just end up upsetting you. And I think I'm not going to let someone sat on a couch doing nothing better with their life but being horrible with people online make me feel rubbish about myself. So now I just avoid reading them. I just feel sorry for them and think, just pathetic and just nasty. Then they can't be happy. But I don't think trolls are happy people. They must be very sad and miserable to sit there and make someone else feel sad and miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on to maybe, a lighter note, we've got some fights announced. We saw White Povetkin and a bunch of others announced for Eddie's back garden. Which of those stands out to you? What fight, as a fan yourself, are you really looking forward to?
Tasha Jonas and Harper and Dillian White, yeah. They're the main two that I'm looking forward to.
Have you heard much about Shannon Corney's opponent?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I'm looking forward to that fight. Yeah, I forgot about that. Ospada. Be a good fight.
Absolutely. And for yourself, what do you feel the future holds, in the coming moments? What do you feel is up next for you?
Hopefully a crack at Katie Taylor. But other than that, just hopefully a fight day.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If Eddie Hearn's watching this at any point, by any chance,
fight,
get the dotted line out, man. Just do it. But if Jake has got any final questions, that's the perfect way to end it.
All good. Thank you very much,
Chantelle, for coming on. Massive thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate your time. We know you're busy training, and hopefully you'll get back in that ring soon, and you'll be able to show the world exactly what you're all about last year that we saw. And for those of you that have enjoyed the episode, make sure you press the subscribe button so we can get more brilliant guests on and keep churning out their great content. Oh, we think it's great. I hope you agree. But yeah, until then, see you on the next one.
Thank you.